Kanti paramang tapo titikha, as is recorded in the Theravada Buddhist scriptures, means that a yogi's ultimate power, ultimate ability is patience. And we can see in so many yogis, especially coming from the foreign countries, that they are entirely missing this point. Patience, zero. No patience. But they would always go around and say, I meditate this much, I meditate that much, I have been practicing this many years and I know this many practices. But if they have to wait 5 minutes for somebody, or if they have to wait 1 or 2 days for something, that's a problem. So that's where they lose their degree of meditator. A meditator is not a meditator if he or she doesn't have patience. They become a meditator by the power of patience. That of course doesn't mean that everybody who is patient is a meditator. Absolutely not. But a meditator who has attained something, or a meditator who's practicing, who wants to say that they're practicing, who wants to boast, hey, I'm a meditator, they must have patience. Without patience, their practice has been more or less useless, referring to the Buddha's saying, Kanti paramang tapo titikha. Kanti means patience. Paramang means ultimate. Tapo is a meditator, somebody who strenuously makes effort, in this case, to meditate. Titikha is a skill, ability, prowess, if you want. So, a good meditator is a master in patience. What is really distressing is when a meditator wants to do a good deed. They want to help somebody, or they want to clean something, or they want to care for something or somebody, but it doesn't work out. And if it doesn't work out because of somebody else, then instead of succeeding in that good deed, not only that they do not attain the batch of a good deed, but they also gather some bad deed for their relationship to the person who failed to fulfill the expectations. So if we want to do a good deed and somebody else is involved, we need to remember that if that person doesn't fulfill our expectations, at least we should not gather bad deeds on account of our impatience. Now, what is patience and what is impatience? Now, patience and impatience, if we explain these two better, let's start with impatience because that's clear, that's easier to explain. Impatience is when we expect something to happen at a certain time and it doesn't happen at that time. In rare cases, it could also refer to expectations that something will happen in a certain way, and it doesn't happen in that way. So, patience then is that we are able to withstand such situation. when things do not happen in the way we want at the time we want. This is all dependent on our views of the world. If we think that the world will happen according to what we want, then this is the greatest recipe for suffering. As soon as we think that things will happen the way we want, at that very moment, we are doomed. Things will simply not happen the way we want. It's just that easy. Now we only need to train to accept it that way and to behave accordingly. Now, because all of you are now in Myanmar, at least all of you present right here, you have this fantastic opportunity to learn what is patience from these Burmese people. Because most of the Burmese people, absolutely not all of them, but most of the Burmese people, especially those from the rural areas, are immensely patient. And it is amazing how they are patient. And it is so painful when they expect foreigners to be patient as well. Because there where the Burmese live happily and satisfied, the foreigners are absolutely desperate. So Burmese people take it easy. They tell you, okay, so let's meet at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They come at 3 or 4. And that's right, that's the way it should be. Nothing special. For a foreigner, that's a surprise. Or you ask a Burmese person, okay, so did you speak with that person? Or did you do this for me? Or did you bring this for me? Or did you take that there? They say, yes, I did. And of course they didn't. And that's right, that's the way they would say it, and everybody understands. But the foreigners don't. That's where a problem appears. So Burmese people take it very easy. And they take it easy among themselves, not just to foreigners. And it's very important for us to consider the fact that they just are patient. So they're used to this. They're used to this easy going, okay, so this way, that way, no problem. Things will happen the way they have to happen. No hurry. Until you have your both hands, both legs, it's no problem. So you apply for a visa, no problem, 1 month. After 1 month. So, what about my visa? Please come next month. Okay, you come next month. So what about my visa? So please come next month. And it's not just about visa, it's about everything and anything. And this doesn't mean that we should look at Burmese people in a certain way or behave in a certain way. I would rather look at it as a fantastic training in patience for ourselves. What were your expectations? What did you want? And what are your attitudes when you learn that things didn't happen the way you want? Now, what's really interesting is that pretty much the same things, the same troubles that we encounter in a foreign country, we encounter in our own countries as well, with our own friends and family members. It's just that there we cannot blame them for being Burmese, but we just blame them for being, yeah, that's my mom, or yeah, that's my grandpa, or yeah, that's my friend. It's like that throughout our life. People are like that, not perfect. And interesting is that we ourselves are also not perfect, and most of the times when we are angry with somebody for not fulfilling our expectations, it's actually the same mistake that we ourselves committed in the past. So it's not something that we would never do in most of the cases. Of course, there would be exceptions. So when we happen to see that things do not happen the way we wanted, it's good to reflect on this quality. And if you want to say that you're a meditator, then that's great. Take that conceit, Take that conceit and use it for your good. I am a meditator. That means that I am patient. And make use of that conceit to be patient. Think, hey, I am a meditator. I want to say everywhere that I'm a meditator. Therefore, I am patient in every circumstance. If you want to be that much boastful and conceited. Now, if you don't want to, that's even better. But it's important to find a way how to encourage yourself to be patient, how to withstand those difficulties which you face throughout your life. You may lose your things. People may steal your things. You may just plan to do a little thing, and you need somebody just to help a little bit, tiny little bit, for you to do a big thing. And wow, they didn't help that tiny little bit. So that's great. It's an opportunity for you to be patient, not an opportunity to do bad deed by your thought, by being angry, or in a worse case, to get angry and say bad words. There was a case, interestingly, with a Burmese lady, a Burmese supporter of mine, donated for building a veranda of a monastic building in our monastery. And my assistant didn't do it because it was not possible with that amount. And then after 3 months, when she called, so did you do it? Did you do the veranda? Did you repair it? He said, no, I didn't do anything. And another yogi just built it themselves, much better. So the donor got angry. She said, hey, you're a useless man. How come that you didn't do it the way I wanted? So not only that her good intention didn't become true, which is the way it is, I believe she couldn't do it better, but she also collected bad deeds. She said a bad word to somebody. She didn't say that he's a useless man. She used much worse term. And that's just so pitiful. That's so sad. Why to do that? There's no benefit. There's only harm to herself. And it's also harm to ourselves when our good deeds just do not become true, and we get angry, we start to say bad things, bad words, we start to do bad things, bad actions toward the person who just didn't do it the way we wanted. Now in Thabarwa, Yeikthar, Thanlyin, the correct pronunciation, Thabarwa, Yeikthar, Thanlyin. So here, you came to do good deeds. And to do good deeds in Thabarwa, Yeikthar, most often I would suppose you depend on somebody else's presence, either to receive your good deed or to help you with it. So then when that person doesn't come at the time when you appointed, when you decided and agreed, or when another person doesn't come and help you, or when somebody who is supposed to do the cleaning or to do the sweeping or to do anything else, it would be quite destructive and contradicting, counterproductive if you became angry. You wanted to do a good deed, and then because of your will to do good deed, you would say bad things, you would do bad things. That's quite sad, isn't it? So kanti paramang tapotitikha. If you're a meditator, if you meditate, if you want to work hard to become a better person, then your ultimate focus, your ultimate effort should be right there at patience. So whenever you get angry, watch that mind. Hey, why am I angry? Am I not angry because things didn't go the way I wanted? Am I not angry because I wanted something and I didn't get it? Am I not angry because I have to wait some time more? Observe that anger. Always look at yourself. Could you do it better? And if you did it the best, then just be happy. Hey, I did it the best way I could. That's great. And just be happy about that. And work harder, Try to think how you could improve the way you did it. You cannot improve another person. You can improve yourself. In fact, in all of this world, all of us have one slave. One slave which will do everything we ask that slave to do. And that's ourselves. So if you really want to command somebody, if you really want to expect and rely on somebody, then it's yourself. And you can always train yourself in being better and better, in fulfilling the expectations, in fulfilling the reliability, in being really, really trustworthy. The more you can do yourself, and the more you can accept the deficiencies of others, others will notice that. Others will see, hey, I totally failed and this person didn't even blame me. That's special. And that's where they actually start to be interested in you. They start to be inspired by you. And they may even try to follow you. They may even try to do the things the way you do. And they may even listen to your advice and to your suggestions. Now, although I said that we need to be patient with everybody and we need to accept the deficiencies of everybody, that absolutely doesn't apply if the person intentionally caused harm or intentionally did something bad or intentionally engaged in laziness. That's something totally different. Not only that we are loving and patient, but we are also friendly and encouraging, inspiring. We inspire by our own example, but if we see that somebody else didn't understand how things could be done and that they really could do it better, that they intentionally decided to engage in laziness or in a bad deed, then of course we need to be a good friend. We need to give them a nice, loving, kind advice, a suggestion. Dear friend, maybe next time, if you are more attentive to what I'm suggesting to you, you could be more successful. And you'd be even more happy because you could engage in a better deed. Dear friend, maybe if you come on time, we can do more things. And maybe other people who are waiting for us would be even happier. Dear friend, if you help us with the hygiene and cleaning and helping, maybe you will gather some merit and you will be happy about yourself. And others will trust you more. So we are always friendly. We are the encouraging, friendly, inspiring companions on the way. Not just ourselves to the others, but among each other. So we also patiently accept another person's advice and suggestion. Sometimes you may get your suggestion in a louder voice. Sometimes you may get your suggestion in a coarser style. But if that is a suggestion which really is true, then it's good to listen to it and see if you could do things better. So not only that we ourselves train to be a perfect, immaculate person, but we also accept others in helping us in our training. And at the same time, we support the others in their own training. Then when we fail, we reduce our conceit, we put it aside, we burn it, and we go to our friend and we confess. Oh, dear friend, you know what I did? I totally missed this out. I had to clean the floor and I totally forgot. And then your friend should be there and say, hey, that's great that you're able to accept it. Now, are you clearly aware that you could do it better? And then you say, yes, I really could do it better. And then your friend would say, so will you be more mindful next time? And then you'd say, yes, indeed, I must be more mindful. And your friend would reply, very well, very well. That's exactly the way how the Buddha taught the monks to confess their offenses. Monks have to confess their offenses right after breaking them, right after breaking a rule. So as soon as a monk breaks a rule, for example, a monk eats dinner, or a monk happens to touch money, or a monk happens to there are so many rules. Now, what would be the rules that I would share with you? But if a monk breaks a rule, a monk should clearly understand, hey, I broke a rule. And then when the monk has broken a rule, he should find a friend and confess to his friend. And it should not be a friend who broke that rule as well, then this would be useless. The Buddha has clearly rejected confessing an offense to somebody who has committed the same offense. So we always find a friend who's better or who did not commit that misdeed in the recent time. So, and then we confess, and the good friend would encourage us to be a better person by their own example. Our good friend should be an inspiration for us, not just a tree to say thanks to. And then, if you learn how to confess your offenses, if you learn how to decrease your conceit, if you learn how to be mindful of your actions, of your speech, and of your mind, then you become a better and better person. And becoming a better and better person, you become more and more happy. And becoming more and more happy, you make the people around you more and more happy. And with all people happy and satisfied, it is much easier to meditate and much easier to get free from all greed, hatred, and ignorance, and thus get freed from the suffering of birth, old age, sickness, and death.